Hello, I'm Jan Newharth, Chair and Chief Executive Officer of the Freedom Forum. Welcome to First Five Now, a Freedom Forum conversation series exploring the complex questions our First Amendment freedoms face today, and featuring newsmakers who put their freedoms into practice. Today we'll hear from Brandy Levy, who in 2017 went on social media and directed some colorful language towards her school after learning she did not make the varsity cheerleading squad. After being suspended from the JV squad for violating its code of conduct, she and her parents took the school district to court, saying her free speech rights were violated. The Supreme Court wound up agreeing, ruling that the First Amendment limits public schools' ability to regulate off-campus speech delivered via social media. Brandy's story is featured in the upcoming Freedom Forum exhibit, The First Amendment and Youth, opening at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport and Washington Dulles International Airport. The exhibit explores how young people have shaped our country by using their First Amendment rights. This program is brought to you by the Freedom Forum, which fosters First Amendment freedoms for all. Our vision is an America where everyone knows, understands, values, and defends the freedoms of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. And now, please welcome our moderator, Tristiania Hinton.
Welcome to today's First Five Now. My name is Tristiania Hinton, and I'm the Senior Content Producer here at the Freedom Forum. Today, we welcome Brandy Levy, who went all the way to the Supreme Court after she was suspended from her junior varsity cheerleading squad for an explicit Snapchat. Brandy posted from the local convenience store outside of school hours, but was still punished for the snap. In 2021, 4 years later, the Supreme Court ruled that her high school went too far in suspending her for the speech, violating her First Amendment rights. Brandy joins us now to talk about her story. Brandy, welcome to First Five Now.
Thank you.
So to start, yeah, of course. To start, can you talk about what happened the day that you posted the now infamous Snapchat? Like, what was going through your mind? How were you feeling?
I mean, I guess I was just more or less frustrated, not only at cheer or like at the school specifically or anything like it, just in general. And because I mean, that's not the first time I've expressed how I felt like on social media. So I thought that there wouldn't be an issue this time if I've done it before.
Yeah, so did you have any idea that your school would get involved, like when you posted your snap?
No, I had absolutely no idea any of them even like knew about it, like or like about me just in general, because like it's a high school, it's a middle school, it's school. Like they don't only target one specific person, but like so like I wasn't really thinking as it that way.
Gotcha. And so when you were suspended, right? Did you know at that point, like you were pretty young, so did you know at that point that your First Amendment rights were being violated?
Honestly, at that point, no, only because I was 14, so I wasn't thinking of it that way. I was just thinking of, oh, they kicked me off because I said the F word. So like I wasn't really looking at it like more or less the legal way.
So how did you get to that point where you started thinking about it a little bit more legally?
So as they were suspending me, they let me go down to the office and call my parents. So I called my mom first, and then after I talked to my mom and explained what was happening, she called my dad, and my dad called the school. So then I guess my dad just like took it into his own hands.
Okay. Um, and so what role did you have in kind of that decision to fight back against the school's decision?
I mean, like I guess when we were like in the beginning of it, we were going to school board meetings and like I was trying to talk during these school board meetings and like explain my side of the story, but it's just they wouldn't listen. So I mean, I looked at my dad and I was like, can we do this? Because like they're not hearing me out, but I'm supposed to listen to them, but they won't listen to me.
And talk a little bit more about the experience at the school board. Like, what did you say? What kind of role did you play at those meetings? And what kind of responses did you get?
I mean, when we were sitting there, I think I went to one school board meeting. I know my dad went to more, but I think I only went to one. And when I was there, they were just talking, and then they let my dad talk. And then after my dad talked, I had a whole letter written out of like my reasoning for why I did this. And I like in the letter, it was like, I'm sorry, like I know I made a mistake. Like I'm not this type of person. I've never been in trouble before. Like all of that was written in this big letter. It was like 2 pages long. And I'm sitting there just saying it and saying it, and it's just they're looking at me like they were listening, but they weren't listening. They're
Yeah.
like they
How did that
already had their mind made up before I even spoke.
Yeah. How did that make you feel?
I mean, I was really upset. I was more or less frustrated that I was in this school and I'm supposed to be like protected and I'm supposed to feel loved at this school and everything's supposed to be friendly, but like if you're not listening to me, how am I supposed to feel any of these things?
Yeah. So, okay, so that's what you started going to the school board meetings. Nobody was listening. You guys decided to take the next step. Talk to us about like what that journey was like from the school board meeting and kind of every step that you took until you got to the Supreme Court.
I mean, as a kid, it was a very, very long process. Only because I was 14 years old when this started. It ended when I turned, but the day, like a month before I was turning 19. So it ended just recently. And like, I had to go through my whole, I don't want to say that they took my childhood from me, but like this whole court, like it just drug for no, like just because. And it was very stressful. It was very long. It was very tiring.
What was the reaction like from your school community? Like, what did your friends say?
I mean, there was some people that weren't like there were some people that like sided with them and some people that sided with me. But like of course people have their own opinions, but I mean more or less all of my friends, they all honestly looked at me and they were like, what the hell? Like why?
Why, like, why were you in trouble or why are you like pursuing it? Why, which why?
Why'd I even get suspended in the first place?
Gotcha. So what about like the teachers and the administrators at your school? Like how did they react to this whole process?
I mean, no one really said anything because I have a little brother still in that school too. He's a senior this year. And I mean, no one really said anything, but like there's always those eyes. Like there's always those people looking and those people talking. And you're going to hear it and you're going to see it cuz I did too from the teachers, honestly. But
And how did that make you feel? Like that's I wouldn't have expected that.
I mean, yeah, I was pretty upset. I mean, more or less too because one of the cheer coaches was also my math teacher at the time.
Okay.
So it was also it was like I don't want to say like scary, but like it was like nerve-wracking kind of.
Gotcha. So knowing what you know now, right? Looking back on all of this, is there anything that you might change or do differently?
I mean, now that I look back at it, no, only because like look at how far I've come. Like the whole world knows my story and like there's people that are stepping up now cuz I've had like people's parents texting me about them like emailing their schools and stuff like that because of like situations like mine. Like so I know that I made a big difference in the world.
That's got to be a cool feeling.
It's kind of scary.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like scary to think about. Like I live in a small town. I live around coal mountains. So it's just coal mines everywhere. Like I'm from a small town in Schuylkill County in Pennsylvania. Like you wouldn't think that anyone in the world knows me, but everyone in the world knows who I am.
Hmm. Okay. So what advice do you have for other kids who might want to use their First Amendment rights?
I mean, if you're going to go for it, I would say go for it and just I mean, honestly, just go for what you think is right, because I schools can't control you. They can't control you when you're not in school, when you're not at a school function, when you're not wearing school uniforms. And they shouldn't have a right, and they shouldn't think that they have a right to.
Brandy, thank you for joining us on First Five Now. As a reminder, the First Amendment in Youth exhibit opens later this summer at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport and Washington Dulles International Airport. To all of our viewers, we hope you'll share your thoughts about today's program via social media at the addresses listed below. The Freedom Forum will be posting a recording of this program on the Freedom Forum YouTube page, where you can also post comments. We hope you'll like and subscribe the Freedom Forum's YouTube channel for more programs and videos on issues related to the First Amendment. Thank you for joining us.